Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful day today. I'm so happy that you're able to join us again so that we can dive right back into our studies of the Most High's holy word. Go ahead and get your pens, your papers, your notebooks, your markers, your drinks. I'm having coffee this morning. Everything you need to study. We're going to pick back up where we left off at. When we were last together, we left off at Exodus chapter 20, where we had learned of a few of the first set of commands that the Most High had given to his people. And so we're going to pick back up at Exodus 21. Okay? Exodus chapter 21. And these are the right rulings which you are to put before them. When you buy an Hebrew servant, he serves 6 years, and in the 7th, he goes out free for naught, which means for nothing. If he comes in by himself, he goes out by himself. And if he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, and she has borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children are her master's, and he goes out by himself. And if the servant truly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, let me not go out free, then his master shall bring him before Elohim, and shall bring him to the door, to the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. Wow, so here, this is another ruling that the Most High has given to his people regarding any Hebrew servant. And I find it interesting that if the male servant is pierced if his ear is pierced, right, then that's a sign that he will serve his master forever. Wow. Never knew that. Verse 7. And when a man sells his daughter to be a female servant, she does not go out as the male servants do. If she is displeasing in the eyes of her master, who has engaged her to himself, then he shall let her be ransomed. He shall have no authority to sell her to a foreign people because of him deceiving her. If he has engaged her to his son, he is to do to her as the right of daughters. If he takes another, her food, her covering, and her marriage rights are not to be diminished. And if he does not do these 3 for her, then she shall go out for naught without silver. So another set of rules for the female servant. They are not to be treated and to work as the male servants, right? And if the master is not pleased with the female servant, then he is to let her be ransomed. He is to let her to be bought, right? But not to foreign people. And if he chooses to keep her, then he is to do to her as is the right of daughters, right? So even if he takes on another female servant, he is still to make sure that she is fed, she is covered, and she retains all of her marriage rights. Verse 12, he who strikes a man so that he dies shall certainly be put to death. But if he did not lie in wait, but Elohim delivered him into his hand, then I shall appoint for you a place where he is to flee. But when a man acts presumptuously against his neighbor to kill him by treachery, You are to take him even from my altar to die. And he who smites his father or his mother shall certainly be put to death. And he who kidnaps a man and sells him, or if he is found in his hand, shall certainly be put to death. And he who curses his father or his mother shall certainly be put to death. And when men strive together, and one smites the other with a stone or with his fist, and he does not die, but is confined to his bed, if he rises again and walks about without his staff, then he who smote him shall be innocent. He only pays for lost time, and sees to it that he is completely healed. And when a man smites his male or female servant with a rod, so that he dies under his hand, he shall certainly be avenged. But if he remains alive a day or two, he is not avenged, for he is his property. And when men strive, and they shall smite a pregnant woman, and her children come out, yet there is no injury, he shall certainly be punished accordingly as the woman's husband lays upon him, and he shall pay by the judges. But if there is injury, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, lash for lash. And when a man smites the eye of his male or female servant and destroys it, he is to let him go free for the sake of his eye. And if he knocks out the tooth of his male or female servant, he is to let him go free for the sake of his tooth. Verse 28. And when an ox gores a man or a woman to death, then the ox shall certainly be stoned, and its flesh is not eaten, and the owner of the ox is innocent. However, if the ox was previously in the habit of goring, and its owner had been warned, and he has not kept it confined, so that it killed a man or a woman, the ox is stoned, and its owner is also put to death. If a sin covering is laid upon him, then he shall give the ransom of his life, whatever is laid on him. Whether it has gored a son or gored a daughter, according to this right ruling, it is done to him. If the ox gores a male or a female servant, he is to give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox is stoned. And when a man opens a pit, or if a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls in it, the owner of the pit is to repay. He is to give silver to their owner, and the dead is his. And when the ox of a man smites the ox of his neighbor, and it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the silver from it, and also divide the dead ox. Or if it was known that the ox was previous in the habit of goring, and its owner had not kept it confined, he shall certainly repay ox for ox, while the dead is his. So here we are learning of more right rulings that the Most High has given to the children of Israel. Excuse me. Chapter 22. When a man steals an ox or a sheep and shall slaughter it or sell it, he repays 5 cattle for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If the thief is found breaking in and he is smitten so that he dies, there is no guilt for his bloodshed. If the sun has risen on him, there is guilt for his bloodshed, and he shall certainly repay. If he has not the means, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the theft is indeed found alive in his hand, then whether it is an ox or a donkey or a sheep, he repays double. When a man lets a field or a vineyard be consumed and lets loose his livestock and it feeds in another man's field, he repays from the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. When fire breaks out and spreads to thorn bushes, so that stacked grain or standing grain or the field is consumed, he who kindled the fire shall certainly repay. When a man gives silver or goods to his neighbor to guard, and it is stolen out of the man's house, If the thief is found, he repays double. If the thief is not found, then the master of the house shall be brought before Elohim to see whether he has put his hand into his neighbor's goods. For every matter of transgression, for ox, for donkey, for sheep, for garment, or for whatever is lost, which another claims to be his, let the matter of them both come before Elohim. And whoever Elohim declares wrong repays double to his neighbor. When a man gives to his neighbor a donkey or ox or a sheep or any beast to watch over, and it dies or is injured or is driven away while no one is looking, let an oath of Yahuwah be between them both, that he has not put his hand into his neighbor's goods. And the owner of it shall accept that, and he does not repay. But if it is indeed stolen from him, he repays to its owner. If it is torn to pieces, then let him bring it for evidence. He does not repay what is torn. And when a man borrows from his neighbor, and it is injured or dies while the owner of it is not present, he shall certainly repay. But if its owner was with it, he does not repay. If it was hired, he is entitled to the hire. And when a man entices a maiden who was not engaged and lies with her, he shall certainly pay the bride price for her to be his wife. If her father absolutely refuses to give her to him, he pays according to the bride price of maidens. Do not allow a practicer of witchcraft to live. Anyone lying with a beast shall certainly be put to death. He who slaughters the mighty ones, except to Yahuwah only, is put under the ban. Do not tread down a sojourner or oppress him, for you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. Wow. Do not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them at all, if they cry out to me at all, I shall certainly hear their cry, and my wrath shall burn, and I shall slay you with the sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. If you do lend to any of my people, the poor among you, you are not to be like one that lends on interest to him. Do not lay interest on him. If you take your daughter's garments as a pledge at all, you are to return it to him before the sun goes down. For that is his only covering. It is his garment for his skin. What does he sleep in? And it shall be that when he cries to me, I shall hear him, for I show favor. Wow. So here we have heard so many of the Most High's right rulings for his people. He's fair and he's just. Like everything he's instructing them is about being fair. Like he said, it's about repaying the other man for his loss, right? And he's very specific with, when accountability is to be taken, right? When we are required to repay our neighbor, when we're not required to repay our neighbor, right? When we're lending, we're not to be lending with interest, right? So many rules. Do not allow a practicer of witchcraft to live, right? So witchcraft is not allowed among his people. Lying with beasts is not allowed. Anyone lying with a beast shall certainly be put to death. Anyone who slaughters to a mighty one, if you are giving up an offering, a slaughtering of an offering to anyone except Yahuwah, it's not allowed. You are to be put under the ban, right? Verse 21, do not tread down a sojourner or oppress him. For you were a sojourner in the land of Mitzrayim, right? And a sojourner is like a foreigner. So we are not to alienate people and make them feel less than, right? Like a stranger or a foreigner, because we were once foreigners as well, right? Do not afflict any widow or fatherless child. Do not afflict them at all. If they cry out to me at all, I shall certainly hear their cry. Verse 28. Do not revile Elohim, nor curse a ruler of your people. Do not withhold your produce or your juice. Give me the firstborn of your sons. Likewise, you are to do with your oxen, with your sheep. It is to be with its mother 7 days, and on the 8th day, give it to me. And you are Kodesh men to me. You do not eat any meat which is torn to pieces in the field. You throw it to the dogs. Chapter 23. Do not bring false report. Do not put your hand with the wicked to be a malicious witness. Right? Do not lie. That's what do not bring a false report. Don't create false stories, right? Don't speak falsely against anyone. Verse 2. Do not follow a crowd to do evil, nor bear witness in a strife, so as to turn aside after many to pervert. And do not favor a poor man in his strife. When you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall certainly return it to him. When you see the donkey of him who hates you lying under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving it to him. You shall certainly help him. We are to help our enemy, right? It's about displaying love, being in the likeness and the image of the Most High and His Son. Verse 6, do not turn aside the right ruling of your poor in his strife. Keep yourself far from a false matter, and do not kill the innocent and the righteous, for I do not declare the wicked right. And do not take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the seeing one and twists the words of the righteous. And do not oppress a sojourner, as you yourselves know the life of a sojourner, because you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. And for 6 years you are to sow your land, and shall gather its increase. But the 7th year you are to let it rest, and shall leave it, and the poor of your people shall eat. And when they leave, the beasts of the field eat. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive yard. 6 days you are to do your work, and on the 7th day you rest, in order that your ox and your donkey might rest, and the son of your female servant and the sojourner be refreshed. And in all that I have said to you, take heed, and make no mention of the name of other mighty ones. Let it not be heard from your mouth. Wow. Make no mention of the name of other mighty ones. Let it not be heard from your mouth. We are not to say any other names of any other mighty ones. Make no mention of them. Let it not be heard from your mouth. Verse 14, 3 times in the year you are to celebrate a festival to me. Guard the festival of Matzah. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, as I commanded you, in the appointed time, in the month of Abib. For in it you came out of Mitzrayim. Do not appear before me empty-handed. Yes. In the festival of the harvest, the first fruits of your labors which you have sown in the field, and the festival of ingathering at the outgoing of the year, when you have gathered in the fruit of your laborers from the field. 3 times in a year, all your males are to appear before the Adon Yahuwah. So he's telling us right here, 3 times in a year, we are to celebrate a festival to him. And is it Leviticus? Yes, it is. And when we get to the book of Leviticus, we are going to really hone in on all of the feasts, the festivals of Yahuwah, the feast of Yahuwah. Yes. But here, as you can see, the Most High is telling his people 3 times in the year, you are to celebrate festivals to me. Verse 18, do not offer the blood of my slaughtering with leavened bread, and the fat of my festival shall not remain until morning. Bring the first of the fruits of your land into the house of Yahuwah, your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. See, I am sending a messenger before you to guard you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Be on guard before him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he is going to pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. But if you diligently obey his voice and shall do all that I speak, then I shall be an enemy to your enemies and a distresser to those who distress you. For my messenger shall go before you and shall bring you into the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I shall cut them off. Do not bow down to their mighty ones, nor serve them, nor do according to their works. But without fail overthrow them, and without fail break down their pillars. And you shall serve Yahuwah your Elohim, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I shall remove sickness from your midst. None shall miscarry or be barren in your land. I shall fill the number of your days. I shall send my fear before you and cause confusion among all the people to whom you come, and make all your enemies turn their backs to you. And I shall send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivite and the Canaanite and the Hittite from before you. I shall not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become a waste and the beasts of the field become too numerous for you. Little by little I shall drive them out from before you until you have increased and you inherit the land. And I shall appoint your border from the Sea of Reeds to the Sea of the Pelashites, and from the wilderness to the river, for I shall give the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. Do not make a covenant with them or their mighty ones. Let them not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me when you serve their mighty ones, when it becomes a snare to you. Wow. So here the Most High is telling his people that he's going to send a messenger before them to guard the way and to prepare the place that he has for them. And he's telling his people to be on guard for the Most High's messenger, obey his voice. And he's going to deliver their enemies into their hands. He said he's not going to do it all at once. He's going to do it little by little. Little by little, he's going to drive them out. until they have increased and they have inherited the land. So here the Most High is telling them, I have a plan. This is my plan. All you have to do is be on guard for my messenger and then follow his instructions. Also, do not make a covenant with any of the inhabitants of the land, and do not make a covenant with their mighty ones as well. Let them not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me when you serve their mighty ones. So we're going to stop here for today. This is a good stopping point. We were able to just read on more of the laws, the statutes, and commands that the Most High has for his people, right? We see, and we're going to see as we continue to read that there are many commands that the Most High has given to his people to instruct them on the right way to live according to his expectations that he has for his people. And once again, these commands, they're not for everyone. They were specifically for his people, given to his people, meaning his chosen, the children of Israel, and the sojourners, the foreigners that were grafted in amongst them, that joined them, right? Because he tells them, do not oppress a sojourner, as you yourselves know the life of a sojourner, because you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim, right? And so he's given these laws, statutes, and commandments to his chosen people and the foreigners among them, the sojourners among them. And so it's just really humbling to hear and to know how highly the Most High thinks of us and sees us, right? He loves us so much that he was very deliberate and very specific on how he wants us to live, how he wants us to treat one another, how he wants us to treat our neighbors, how he wants us to treat our vineyards, our fields, our servants, our cattle, right? He's very specific on how he expects us to live, how he expects us to behave, how he expects us to think, how he expects us to feel. Very, very specific. So, if you are not familiar with how the Most High expects us to be, right? If reading these right rulings came new to you, I encourage you to dive deeper, right? Deeper into the Torah, because the Most High has so many laws that he requires of his people to follow. And so if you don't know what those laws are, then how can you follow them, right? And the thing I love about his law is that it's all about love. It just teaches us how to love one another, how to love each other, how to love the things that he blesses us with, and it protects us from lawlessness. It protects us from the things that are not of him. It protects us from the things that can do us harm. That we probably don't even think about, right? If you have lend something to someone and you have received repayment with interest, you're out of you're out of right ruling. Like the Most High tells us not to do that, right? And there is a reason. There is a reason. There is a reason for that. Um, and so it's just a beautiful thing to learn of His law and His commandments. And so if you're not familiar with them, and I encourage you, as you read them, as we learn them, write them down, meditate on them, um, to ensure that you are keeping them. Anyway, I'll stop here. Okay. And so when we reconvene, we'll pick back up at chapter 24. Okay. Okay. Well, I hope the rest of your day is as beautiful as our morning has been. It's been such a pleasure and an honor to sit with you and just learn and read over some of the Most High's right rulings that He has for us. Okay. And yeah. So until the next time, I love you and I'll see you later. Bye.